guys, so today I'm doing this look for you right over here. I am using the Kat Von D Metal Matte palette. This is one of my favorite palettes to use when I want some color or a pop of color or color all over the lid, just some color, you know? I'm not actually too sure how well it translates on the camera, but I do have a lot of green here and then it kind of fades up to my transition color, which is a coolish brown. There is actually a ton of layering with this look, so I'll just stop talking and get into it. So I'm totally cheating by going in with some tape on the outer corners. It's really for simplicity's sake, so I get a really clean edge, but it also helps with fallout. Then I went in with my NYX glitter glue. And the first shade I'm going to be using on my eyes today will be Bone. I'm really going to be patting that on in the inner corners. It'll really give me a good contrast at the end. And then with whatever's left on the product, I'm going to be bringing it under my brows and then all over my entire eyelid. And I'm not actually going in with my transition shade just yet. I'm actually going to be starting off with Nebula, which is this really pretty blue, just because at the end I wanted the green to have a hint of blue underneath. Now I'm going into my transition shade, which is going to be Suede, and I'm not really building it up just yet because I will be building it up a lot throughout the rest of this look. And here I'm just wiping my brush on this hair bun thingy so that I can use the same brush with a different color. And you know, blue and yellow make green, so I didn't want the look to be completely blue. So I went in with some Flash, which is this really pretty gold, to turn it into a green hue. Finally getting into the green, I'm using Watt from the palette, and I'm doing the same technique I did with all of the other colors here. I'm really focusing on the outer third of my eyelid and patting it on towards the lash line. The only areas I'm blending is towards the top where it meets Suede, the transition shade, and I'm just blending up there with really small circles. After that, I do go in intermittently throughout the entire look actually with Suede to build it up and to blend out everything. I don't ever want to see where a color starts and where a color stops. And I did put a lot of this on. I layered about 3 layers of this. Next, I wanted to deepen it up a little bit, so I used the same brush again for simplicity, and I went into Jet, and this time I'm really focusing it on my lash line and then extending it outward. The only area I'm bringing it upward is really just that end, that point. This is actually my first time using Jet. I have so many blacks and so many different palettes, so I really don't reach for the black in this palette, but I'm finding that it's kind of letting me down. It blended out a little bit too quickly. So it was difficult to deepen up this look. I had to do about 3 layers of this just to get it deep enough. Which is very upsetting because it does swatch beautifully and every other shade in this palette is amazing. And even with the tape, there is still some fallout, so I'm trying to get rid of that unsuccessfully. And then I went in with my NYX Epic Ink Liner. And for this look, I really wanted the liner to be extremely thin throughout the entire thing. So it's thin on my eyelid, and even at the wing, it's still extremely thin. But I did want it to be very long, so I extended it out very far. Basically what I was looking for was a very clean and dark edge. I curled my lashes and then I went in with my Maybelline Colossal mascara. This is in waterproof. Rather than going in with the second coat of that mascara, I actually went in with my Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara. This one isn't waterproof, but it doesn't smudge on me, so I really appreciate that. To prime my face, I used the Ulta Hydrating Face Primer. This is a relatively new product. It launched with the remodel of the Ulta brand.
I don't really know whether I like it or I don't like it yet. It is hydrating, but I feel like the hydration goes away extremely quickly, like 2 seconds afterwards. And I don't know if that's good or bad yet. But what I do know that I like is the Clinique Even Better foundation, which I'm using here today. And I'm patting that in with this Ulta blender that I actually got with the hydrating primer in like a travel size collection or whatever. And when I first received it, it was rock hard, so I thought I was going to hate it. But it actually has some density to it that I kind of like. Today I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Sand, and I'm actually using it to really highlight my face. So instead of dragging the concealer out towards my ears, I'm actually dragging it downwards toward my chin and stopping right above my lips. And by doing that, you're really bringing light to the center of your face and not really towards the outer edges of your face. So what that does is it makes your face less wide. So if you have a really round face or a really wide face, this is a really good technique to make your face look a little bit more sharp. And this works really well once you add in the contour as well. Remember to go in with a setting powder extremely quickly. I just used the Coty Airspun one. This just avoids creasing and settling in fine lines. Remember that all concealers do crease. I had a little bit of texture on my jawline today, so I did set that to not bring any attention to it. And I'm using the brush that we used. I didn't add anything to it for simplicity again, but I'm just using that blend of colors on my lower lash line. And then I'm going in with my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eyeliner, and it's in the shade Perversion. This is a really great liner if you set it immediately after, so I just set it with some jet. And then I went in with my Wet n Wild contour stick. This honestly isn't the best product. When you blend it with your brush, your fingers, or a sponge, it does blend extremely quickly, and if you're not careful, you will blend the product entirely away. The way I do love to use this product though is underneath a powdered contour. What I find is when you use it underneath a powdered contour without blending it first at all, just blending the powder, the contour, the cream contour all at once, it actually makes the powder contour last a longer time on your face. And so today I just used it with my e.l.f. contour palette. I used the 2 contour shades and went in right over top of the cream contour without blending it. So I blended them all together. Then to contour my nose, I'm actually using the banana shade out of the palette. I always use a banana shade or a really, really light brown because I don't really like a heavy nose contour. Then I'm going in with this really beautiful blush from Milani. I have it in the shade Tea Rose. It's just their powder brush, very lightly going in. Then I'm using this really great Next I'm going in with Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in Molten Rose, and this is such a great highlighter from the drugstore. I'm just using a smaller blending brush here to really pinpoint everything. Going in with the same highlighter just on a much smaller brush, I am just highlighting the inner corners of my eyes to really make them pop, and then I'm highlighting underneath my brow bones just to give some dimension, really. And because the look is really dark and overpowering, I decided to stick with a lip gloss, so I used the Milani Tinted Lip Oil. And I'm an idiot because I didn't record this, but I did go in with my Milani Make It Last setting spray.
Alright, so this is the final look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.